everyone, it is Eunagina here, and welcome to this second episode of my Vampire Mansion speed build series. In the last episode, we were just doing some building and some work on the exterior of this mansion. But today we're going to move inside. As you can see here, I am just working on the entrance room, or the lower level entrance room, right here. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that if you like this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. That would help me out a lot. I'm a small channel, so that would be very much appreciated. Now, as you can probably see, I've already done the floor plan of this house. I've already separated everything into different rooms that I wanted to have. And I've also put some room-specific items into all the different rooms, and I've also placed some other items in the rooms where I've had some ideas, some creative ideas to do something special with the room. Just because I wanted to get all of these things done off camera, because I knew it was going to take me a very long time to figure out which room was going to be, and I wanted to make sure that I had some really great ideas to make the room seem special and not just sort of furnished because I didn't know what else to put in there. I just put something. So I wanted to make sure that the rooms would feel really nice and would be very interesting to look at. So I did all of that work off camera, but of course I haven't furnished anything at all to completion. I have, at the max, just put in a couple of items just to remind myself of what I wanted to do with the room. But anyways, I hope you don't mind that I've done some work off camera. I thought it might get a little boring because I take a lot of time doing this kind of stuff, and yeah, so I just thought it was better to do it off camera. But maybe I should just introduce you a little bit to what rooms you will find in this house. What is actually in this house? Let me start out by saying that the house has 4 floors above ground. There are 4 floors, which is the maximum amount of floors that you can have. And then there are also 2 floors underground, which is also the maximum amount of floors you can have below ground. So I've pretty much used all the room that I can, and the lot pretty much extends almost all the way to the edge of the lot. So it takes up pretty much as much space as it can on this 30 by 40 lot. So if you've built something bigger on this lot in Forgotten Hollow, then I would love to hear about it, and please link to your gallery if you have, because I would love to see that. That would be pretty awesome, and I would be pretty impressed if you've managed to put anything bigger than this on one of these lots. But yeah, anyways, so on the lower floor, on this floor that I'm working on right here, I have the entrance as I was just decorating, and then I have this entrance hall, which is in 2 floors or 2 plans or whatever. So if you enter through the upper level, you will enter directly into this room that I am decorating here. Of course, you'll enter into the upper level of it rather than the lower level, but this is where you'll enter. And I think it's a pretty grand room, to be honest. I really, really love it, and I love this huge chandelier. I just love everything about it. I think it's pretty cool. And that floor in the middle, the wooden floor in the middle, I made that thinking that it would be some sort of sparring area for the vampires. I was feeling inspired by, what we saw in the trailer, where vampires can fight with each other and all that. So I thought that would be the place where they would do it, whether it's a friendly sparring or if it's an actual vampire fight. I don't know. That's up to you. But that is the area that I would use for it. I think that worked pretty well. So to the right of this entrance hall is a dining room connected to a kitchen. Of course, that is probably not going to be the most used rooms in this entire house, because vampires, as we know, don't actually eat food. They drink blood or plasma, or eat plasma fruits or something like that. So they don't really need a kitchen or a dining room. But I thought that they should have it anyway, because it's still a regular house, and it just should have these rooms. And I also thought in the dining room they might invite their human oblivious guests that don't know anything about their vampiric nature. They would invite them in there for dinner, only for the Sims to find out that they are actually dinner themselves. Or something like that. That's what that room will be for, pretty much, I think. And in the kitchen, I actually connected like an indoor plasma garden, where I put some plasma trees in there. You will see that actually in this episode, so I'll just tell you about it once we get to that. But that's what I've done on the right side of this entrance hall. On the left side, there is the grand ballroom, which you also saw in the introduction of this video and the first video. So that's the ballroom. That's where you'll have all your formal dances or parties going on. So that's a pretty grand room. I really like that room. And connected to that, there is a shrine, a small shrine. And I don't think you'll see that in this episode. I mean, I know you won't see it in this episode. That will be in either the next one or the next one again. I think it'll be in the next one. I think I'll finish up this entire floor in the next episode, and probably also a bit of the upper floor. So, what else is here? I think there's a toilet, which they also probably won't use much, and some small, tiny rooms that are not that important, you'll see. And then there is also a tiny room that'll lead down to the tombs. On the floor above that is second floor. There is... What is there? There is the library, the 2-floor library. So that one will span across the second floor and the third floor. And then connected to that, there is, well, not actually connected to it, but there is also a lounge room for the vampires, where I'm imagining that you'll probably have the less formal parties. That lounge room is also connected to this particular room I'm decorating now, just on the upper level of it. So there is a lounge room there, where there are some creepy things going on, and there's also a bar, and you'll see what I mean when I get there with creepy, but you'll see. But it's a nice room. And then there is also, what else is on the second floor? I entirely forgot. Oh yeah, there is a balcony overlooking this room, and connected to that balcony there is... You can actually see the balcony just now to your right. But connected to that balcony there is a bedroom, one of the very few bedrooms that exist above ground. I think it's actually the only proper bedroom with an actual bed there is above ground, except for an abandoned children's room on the very top floor, which is a little creepy. But yeah, so that is what is there, and then there's like a little room that enters onto a balcony also on this level of the build. But that is all, I think. And then on the third floor there is an office connected to the grand library. It's a very large office, and it's a very awesome office that I would really love to have myself. It's a really nice one. You'll probably see that in... I don't know if it'll be in the next episode or not. But anyways, you'll see it. It's nice. And then there is an arts room. And then there is also a theater, which I thought was a really cool idea. I thought in this build we'll probably not have a TV, because I don't want to have any technological stuff going on in this house. It feels a little out of place. So I didn't want to have a TV, but I thought, okay, what is the pre-TV thing that is a theater. So I made a room with a stage and some chairs, and actually it worked out really, really well. I'm really excited to show you guys whenever I get to that part. I think the theater was really one of my favorite rooms, and I think it just looks really awesome. Of course, you can't actually do performances and that sort of stuff on stage, but I mean, it still looks pretty awesome, so I think that's fine. And next to that theater, if you go down a little hallway a bit, there's another door, and that one leads to another room that you also see in the introduction, and that's also one of my favorite rooms. It is the ritual room. The ritual room where you can see a circle of hooded figures standing around, sort of a ritualistic circle drawn on the floor. That room is really awesome. I really love it so much. And that room is then also connected to the balcony that I was telling you about last episode, where I sort of made up a little bit of a story about that balcony. But I will not tell you about that yet. I will tell you when we get to it. But I'm really excited to tell you guys about it because, I don't know, I thought it was really cool. But I think that's it for the third floor, and then the upper floor, the uppermost floor, is more for private quarters. There aren't any entertainment rooms for guests and that sort of thing. So there is a master bedroom with 2 coffins in it. And then there is the abandoned children's room that I briefly mentioned a little while ago. And then there are some minor rooms, like some filling in rooms. But yeah, that's pretty much the upper floor, I think. And then in the tombs, there are, on the first floor that you get to when you go down, as I said, there are 2 levels. The first one you reach, you'll find the butler's quarters. So there'll be a little what do you say, like of an apartment or something like that for the butler to stay in, where there is a tiny living room, little bedroom, and a little kitchen and a little toilet, and it's all in pretty bad shape, so it's sort of in disrepair and all that. And I'm imagining that this butler is probably, I don't know, compelled by the vampires to do work around the house, so he's just sort of forced to stay down there in the dungeons in his little butler's quarters. So that's a pretty sad life he's got. Poor thing. But that's there. And then next to that is a bedroom with an actual bed in it. It's going to be like a very white bedroom, and that is where I'm imagining that Lilith, you know, the vampire that I told you about last time that I made for this house, she's this very sort of light figure in her human form who will sort of seduce humans with her innocent looks. And then I just sort of made this bedroom for her, which is also all with white colors. And it's sort of, even though it looks all white and bright, it also has this sort of unsettling feel about it, that something is wrong there. Something is not right. And of course it isn't, because by the time Lilith gets you down there, you are pretty much doomed, and she is probably going to eat you. So that's that. You don't want to go down there, for sure. Connected to that room is a little nursery. And that one, again, kind of feels very unsettling. It's got this mix of dark and light colors, and it just, I don't know, I find it kind of creepy. But yeah, so I don't know if Lilith will have her baby spawn in there or something. I don't know. Maybe she's bringing her victims down to that room and then letting her baby eat from them or something. I don't know. This house is pretty dark, by the way. I hope you're fine with that. That's my version of vampires. So that's what's on that level. Then if you go a little further down to the very lowest level, you will reach the tombs. There you'll find a huge great hall, very nice great hall with huge pillars, and then an altar or shrine or whatever at the end of it. And I don't know, I think it's pretty awesome. And down there are also 4 coffins. If you want to have all of your vampires, and if you have a family of like 8 vampires and you want them all to sleep down there, you absolutely can just put in another 4 coffins. There should be room for it quite easily. So you can just do that, and there should be room for whatever you want down there. And connected to that great hall, there is one grand bedroom. It is the same shape as this dining room I'm currently decorating. It is round like this, and I think that's pretty cool. It's a very nice bedroom. I really like that bedroom. It's probably the nicest one I've done in this build, I think. Where I'm sort of imagining the main, or whatever, the queen vampire would be sleeping, maybe. There is actually a proper bed in there. It's not a coffin, but if you think that you would like a coffin and not a bed, you can just replace it with a coffin, of course. That's no problem. So that's what that is. What else is in the tombs? There's also a wine cellar. That one took me a lot of time because I just used move objects on for so many things in that wine cellar, so that one took a long time. I cut most of it out because it was pretty boring to watch, but yeah, so that's what's down there. And then there's also the last room that's there is another lounge room for the vampires, because I thought there should also be a lounge room underground, even though I have a lounge room on the upper floor, or the second floor of this build. I also thought there should be one in the tombs. If they don't feel like being above ground during the day, they can just sort of lounge around down there. That's totally a thing, to lounge around. But yeah, so there is a lounge room down there for the vampires. I think that is all. I might have missed some minor rooms of the build that you might or might not see in this video. I might skip past some of them just to shorten down this series just a little bit so that it would not become 7 episodes instead of 6. But yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so I think I've mentioned all the main rooms, at least I have definitely mentioned. So yeah, one thing I really like to do is this picture that you just saw me looking at real quick. This new painting that came with the vampire pack. What I really like to do with those is layer them with this sort of frameless, modern-y kind of mirror that you can find in the mirrors category. Because it sort of makes it look like it's just a mirror, that the painting is a mirror, and it gives those modern frameless mirrors a really beautiful frame, and I just like that. I think that's a pretty cool thing to do. So yes, and I use those pictures quite a lot in this build. I mean, I know I've used them almost everywhere, but I don't know, I just don't feel like there is anything else that has a frame that fits the build as much. I mean, the frame is so ornamental and beautiful, and then a lot of the other pictures that we have in the game sort of have a more simple frame, and it doesn't look as epic, so I just keep using these ones, which might get a little repetitive, but you know, well, I would rather do that than have a lot of simple, boring pictures that don't fit this type of build. And by the way, what I'm doing right now with all of these candles, I am going to delete all of it in a minute, because I didn't like it. The reason I put all of these candles here was because this middle floor, as you can see, it's quite dark and gloomy. I mean, I am going for a bit of a gloomy feel in this house, but I don't want it to be entirely pitch black. So I was just looking for something to put in there to lighten it up a little bit, and I tried out with some candles, but I don't know, it just wasn't working out for me. Maybe the first few candles I put there was okay. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think it was fine, or I don't know, I didn't like it very much, so I just decided to delete all of them. So yeah, whatever. Um, yeah, and these armor statues, I really like those. I haven't really used them for anything so far, but for this particular build, they just worked out really well. So I've used them in a few places actually, and I think they're really cool. They fit this build, unlike so many others. I mean, mostly I've done some modern builds and all that, and you pretty much wouldn't have an armor standing around in some modern house. That would be a little odd. Maybe I should challenge myself to make a modern build with that one and not make it look out of place. I don't know. But yeah, anyways. So I'm moving on to the kitchen here, and I feel like I have a lot of problems with the kitchen because they gave us new counters with this pack, but I have a bit of a problem with these counters, I have to admit. I don't know if I like them that much. I mean, the design is nice enough. They're kind of more simple than I would have wanted them to be. I know they're more detailed than some of the other counters that are out there. They're a little more ornamental, but I would like more details on them. And also, I'm saying that because I feel like they look a little bit similar to one of the other counters that we have in the game. They're a little too much the same. They've just added a little bit of extra detail to them, and then that's sort of it. And I feel like, I don't know if that's a little lazy, perhaps. I mean, I love this pack, and I love pretty much every single item that's in it, except for the counters. I'm just not really happy with the counters. I think they look too much like one of the other counters, and then my other problem with them is that they only have 3 swatches. And I think that's a little bit sad, because we have so many swatches for pretty much all the other items in this build. Not in this build, in this pack, that I'm just kind of confused. Why do we not have that for these counters? Why do we only have 3 swatches? And my problem with these 3 swatches is that there aren't any swatches that I want to use, because I wanted a dark swatch. I wanted like either a entirely black swatch, or a dark wooden swatch that would sort of match the dark panels that also came with the pack. But instead we've got this sort of orangey wood that sort of looks very bright, in my opinion. And then we also have a white counter with a black tabletop. And that's okay. I mean, I don't mind that these swatches are here, because we can definitely use it for some other builds, but I don't feel like it really fits in here, because a white counter for me is also way too bright for this gloomy vampire build that I'm making right here. So I would definitely have liked a swatch with some darker colors. The only color swatch that is sort of a little bit dark is a dark green swatch, and I don't know, I don't want green counters. Green is a weird color to have on your counters, in my opinion. I don't know, I don't want green. I want a dark black, or just a dark brown or something like that. So I don't know, I'm not too happy with the counters, but I used them anyway, because there wasn't really any of the other counters that sort of looked ornamental enough to fit the build. The most expensive counters, I thought they looked okay, but then I think the sort of knobs that were on the sort of what do you call it, the cupboards, looked a little too sort of modern. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know if that was modern. They're not modern. They're definitely not modern. I don't know, but they're just not fitting either. So I don't know. Even though I didn't like the swatches, these are still the counters that I thought fit the best. So I just went with that. And I also really loved putting in this cauldron. This cauldron is from Spooky Stuff Pack, and I've just sized it up a little bit so that it's sort of a size that looks like it's an actual cauldron and not like a toy, or whatever it's meant to be. So I thought that was kind of cool, and it just makes it look like there's a little bit of witchcraft going on in this corner of the kitchen. And I know that vampires are not actually particularly known for witchcraft or any kind of magic, really. They're more like supernatural beings, but they don't really have a lot of magical abilities. In some interpretations of the vampire, they can compel people to do as they please, or, to, I don't know, obey them or something like that. But usually it's not, you don't see vampires do a lot of ritual magic and this kind of magic with cauldrons and all that. That's more like witches and all that. I know, but I don't know. I kind of like to put this whole ritualistic kind of feel into the house. That's also why I have this ritual room. I don't know if it's just that my vampires know a little bit of magic and ritual magic and whatnot, or if it is because they have some witchy friends or something. I don't know. I guess you can make your own mind up and go with the story that you prefer. Either they know magic or they know people who know magic. I don't know. So in here, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have this plasma tree room where I thought it's like an indoor garden where they grow their plasma fruit. And even though I imagined the vampires who live in this house to be purely interested in human blood and not plasma fruits, I still thought that having some plasma trees were like maybe an emergency kind of supply of something that they can eat if they, for some reason, run out of human supply, or I don't know, whatever. So I just thought, why not make a little garden in here with some plasma trays? Why not? And I also thought an indoor garden for this would be okay, because, I don't know, I mean, plasma trees are meant for vampires, and I thought they could probably grow without sunlight. I don't know. I just thought if there's any plant that can grow without sunlight, it should be plasma trees. I don't know what else. So I think that was pretty okay to put them in an indoor garden. And then I just found out that we had this this cool new flooring, and I just put it in everywhere because I had totally missed that when I looked at all the new items. So I just went and put that everywhere outside, etc., etc. And now I'm also just putting in these. I really liked layering these bird baths with the new pedestals that we have with the vampire pack. I think that looks pretty good. You can make your own sort of bird bath, and I thought that was very cool. So yes, and here I'm just trying in. I put this red, and I thought, ooh, that looks like a pool of blood or something creepy like that. But I didn't go with it for the inside of the house, but then the outside of the house. But then I made these sort of little blood pools on the inside here, where the plasma trees are growing. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of cool. It looked like a little pool of blood or something. It was creepy. So yes. So anyway, guys, that is it for today, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please consider to like and subscribe and leave a comment. That would help me out a lot. I'm a very small channel, so everything counts. And I really love getting feedback for my builds and my videos. So if there's anything that you guys would like to see in the future that I would change, or something that you would like to see me doing in the future, please comment and tell me what you think of this build as well. It would be really very nice to hear from you guys. I really love this build, and I'm really excited to show you guys the rest of it. And I would like to hear what you think of it so far. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and have a great day, and see you soon.